Hello and welcome to the Console Explosions podcast. My name is Kaztech, and I'm coming to you from beautiful Ottawa, Ontario, and I'm joined today by...
This is Antonio from Guadalajara, Mexico.
I'm Andrew from sunny San Diego.
There you go.
There we go. Awesome possum. It's good to be back, guys. It's been a little bit of a hiatus on the podcast, but we're back.
Yeah, funny thing, this is my first podcast for this that doesn't involve wrestling.
You're on our first gaming podcast. Your wrestling podcast is quite interesting.
And I know nothing about wrestling, so.
Oh, that's
probably
that's
the last thing I probably knew something about it was with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, all those guys were there. But that's the last thing I know.
That's it. Jared and I talked about Hogan a little bit last time, and we have differing opinions on him.
Hogan, way better than the new generation John Cena. Hands down.
No, nope. But we'll save that for later.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, we got some big news in the world of gaming.
Yes, we do.
I guess the biggest news coming from our friends overseas in Nintendo in two big announcements. First, we'll talk about the smaller one, which is they decided to finally start making games for the mobile device. What are your thoughts on that?
As long as they don't port games to mobile, I'm good. If they're gonna be new games, doesn't have to be new IPs. It could be a new Mario game or whatever. But as long as they're designed for mobile, I'm okay with it. But if they go ahead and say, "Hey, here you go, all three NES Mario games you can play on your phone," I'm gonna say, "Nope, this is gonna suck balls." I mean, touch controls for platforming precision games, yet they just don't work.
True, but I mean, you can buy those little sticky things that go onto your phone that gives you better precision.
Still, have you ever tried to play, let's say, a platforming game for the NES with a Bluetooth controller that attaches to your phone? Have you tried that before?
No, I haven't tried.
I haven't.
No.
I tell you this: there's a slight delay. That slight delay will be your bane of your existence for those type of games.
Oh,
Well, that's just
yep.
like playing Xbox, though.
What? Yeah, but if you're accustomed of playing on your NES a game, right, and then you go ahead and you have an emulator, you put your game on your phone, and you have a Bluetooth controller, you'll feel the difference there's no tomorrow there. I mean, it's a slight delay again, but that slight delay, it's everything on those games. I can't play them like that.
Yeah, I mean, I play DuckTales quite a bit. I actually speedrun it, and I've tried putting it on my phone one time with the touch controls, and just wanted to shatter my phone.
Yeah, no.
Out of sheer frustration for a platformer. But taking an IP that does exist and making a new game out of it, I think could be really interesting. Like, you could do almost like a Temple Run style thing with Samus.
I'll tell you
But
this.
how many Temple Run games are we gonna want with reskinned characters? I mean, it's like, here we made a new Flappy Birds, but it's gonna be with a flying Goomba instead. Are we gonna get good games, or are we gonna get shitty games, or rip-off games like here's angry Koopas?
What about this? What about this? What about this? Mario RPG 2.
I would. A turn-based RPG, or like a turn-based Paper Mario, like it was for the 64 and the Cube.
Yeah.
That'd probably work out really well for that device. Because, I mean, there are certain games that run mostly off touch controls for the DS, right? Phantom Hourglass being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo can make a game that controls properly like that. Because Phantom Hourglass did control really well.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if maybe they'll port like that one over. You know? Since
But I mean,
this...
again,
just
no
to
ports
throw it
for
out
me.
there. Hang on. Just to throw it out there, the size. What is the size of these going to be? Because if you look at like the new wrestling game that came out, the touchscreen one, Immortals, that was reviewed by A Squared Reviews, the update for that game, every time they update it, is like a gig.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So, like, to me, like, are these Nintendo games going to be able to be the size of what the mobile needs? Or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like before, right? Before we really did have to have very optimized size-wise games. Right now, I don't think we need that much optimization. Like I mean, a gig for an update, that's ridiculous. I think that's for me, that's just not the way we should go. But let's say the whole game is 500 megs. Do you think that's okay? I think they can do that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fine. And I think I was about to freaking say Disney. I can't believe that. I think Nintendo can work in the parameters of 500 gigs or 500 megs pretty well.
Yeah.
I'd like to hope so. I mean, it's not like I'm not like saying we're going to be getting games like Twilight Princess, right? Graphically, here's Skyrim for the cell phone. But I just look at like the WWE game, and it's like to download the game itself was like what 4.5 gigs. Then every update is like it was 1.1 gigabyte, and then every update's been close to a gigabyte worth, and there's been 3 updates.
I had to take it off my tablet. It was too much.
Like my cell phone's coming to just being that game, and that's it.
Well, but that's just them not understanding the platform, right? I think Nintendo does have experience on mobile. I mean, on all the since the Game Boy, they've understood that market in a way that they designed the games to be for mobile purposes, to take them out of out of the wild that you're gonna be playing for a couple of hours at a time, not sitting down on a TV, right? I think they understand that really well. So I don't think we're gonna be seeing that type of problems. I don't think.
Yeah.
Especially as I said, if there are not gonna be any ports. If it's gonna be directly, here you go. This is a new design, a new game designed specifically for a phone or for a tablet. I think they have a good track record where I think I would trust them not making those type of mistakes.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. Do you think that this is going to hurt their 3DS sales?
Again, no. If they have a plan, again, no ports. I mean, if they have, because with your DS you have the controller, right? So you can make games designed with a controller in mind, and then you can make games designed to a touchscreen only game type of experience, right? I know like Phantom Hourglass was a touch only game. Still, you had the two. It has the 2 screens, right? So even though with your finger, your fat finger takes a whole lot more of the space rather than the stylus, right? And then you have the 2 screens. I think it's a different type of way to address touch versus how a phone actually works. So if they design the games taking that into account, I think again I really trust them doing a good job. I think I don't have any evidence to say Yeah, I mean the way they've done it in the past, it sucks balls. I don't think. I think they're gonna do a good job, but again, you will have to wait and see.
What about your thoughts, Andrew?
I don't think it's going to hurt it at all. Just because I think Antonio's right. I don't know if they're not just going to port, as long as they're making these IPs that are for quick play, so somebody at work can sit on the toilet and play with it, play with the game. I think they'll do fine selling them for 99 cents to $5. Plus, look at something like Codename Steam that just came out. That's a pretty big game that takes up quite a few gigs of space, or like Monster Hunter 4 takes up like 3 gigs or 4 gigs on my 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're going to be wanting to do that. I think they're just quick, easy, fun to play games.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that's when you set the price, that's my fear. That's my actual fear. If they go to the route of freemium games, right?
Yeah.
If they go, okay, here this is free, but it's not really because you're gonna have to pay. Hopefully this, because this is a trend right now with games on mobile, right? The freemium route, that seems to be the. So hopefully they don't do that. I don't know if they're gonna do that though.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Nintendo and the fact that they're so behind the times. They just learned about DLC.
Yeah, so that's true. That's true. So that this could be a part where them being behind the times is actually good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see, for sure. If it turns out that it's, like you said, premium games, it's that are like a couple dollars, or the pay-to-play games. Not looking forward to them if they do become pay-to-play, because I hate those microtransaction games.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, and they all seem to be time-based.
Mm-hmm.
And that just sucks for sure. So as long as they don't do freemium games and they don't do ports, I think they're gonna be okay. I think they're gonna be good games, and I don't think the they will cross over for sales for the 3DS. I don't think Nintendo will be hurt about this for the 3DS either, and I think they're gonna be selling a lot on mobile. So I think it's a good thing for them.
Awesome. So the next big news that came rumbling out of Nintendo was probably, for me, the biggest one, is Nintendo has decided to make a new console again. And I say again because apparently it's a home console, not a handheld console, but really, what else is it going to be? Because they're going to be entering a market now that is extremely saturated with. Of course, you have the PS4, the Xbox One, last gen of PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, the Wii U, as well as the new systems of all the, like, Oculus Rift, the Steam boxes being able to be console-wise. So for Nintendo to be stepping back into it, is it going to be good, or is it going to be a fail?
Well, in my opinion, I think, yeah, you said that it's a very crowded market, but I think Nintendo's always been like on the side of things. Not always, but lately at least. Where I don't think, I don't think it's really. I don't think how we care how many consoles there are out there, because all the games from Nintendo are just gonna be on Nintendo's platform. The same way as the Wii U, right? I know it's hurting right now, but we are all gamers are gonna have a Wii U, right? Because we are gonna want to have to play, the next Mario game, the next Zelda game, and they're not gonna be on any other console but Nintendo console. So I think though the console for Nintendo, it's more like a side note in the video game industry that the norm. I don't think. Everyone's doing. They all have the same games. I mean, there's a couple of exclusives here and there, but they all seem to merge so much right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Nintendo wants to try and get into that market too, though, to where people will buy their console for an all-in-one. Because the exclusivity on Nintendo is far greater than the other two consoles.
Definitely.
Whereas the other two consoles have to kind of buy for exclusivity, like PlayStation bought Street Fighter V, kind of. It's also going to be on PC. And Xbox bought Tomb Raider. For
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct is...
Well, rare.
Yeah, that's rare, yeah.
Well, I meant in the sense that, fighter to fighter, right? Because it seems to be whenever a company has a exclusive, the other company will buy one that's just like it. Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Killer Instinct, Street Fighter V.
Yeah, exactly. So, they went in to pay for these exclusive games, whereas Nintendo just has a bevy of them already from 1982 to now, right? Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Kid Icarus, Donkey Kong.
Yeah. If Nintendo can get to a point where all the third party are on board with Nintendo and Nintendo will have their exclusives, oh man, then I fear for the PlayStation 4 and for the Xbox, because then we're gonna go back to the NES, Super NES era where all the third party games were on Nintendo's console, and then we have Nintendo's exclusive games there, and it was a slaughter. If that's the point, if we get to that point, and if the console is actually technically better as well versus the Xbox, or even equal, right? To a point that at least the games are gonna look as well as the PS4 or even better, and the third-party developers get on board with Nintendo, then I tell you this: Nintendo will slaughter the competition if that's to happen.
Oh, I totally agree. I hands down, if the Wii and even the Wii U, if they were able to be graphically superior or even on par with that generation, then hands down, I think Nintendo, Nintendo would be winning the market, because people would be being able to get those third-party games at the right look that they have them on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, as well as the exclusives being Nintendo only. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Because then at that point there would be no point not to buy a Nintendo console, right? So if you've got Call of Duty, Battlefield, Street Fighter, Tomb Raider, all those games that aren't owned, say, by Sony or by Xbox themselves and are third-party developers, then Nintendo will clean up.
Oh yeah.
Because what exclusives does Xbox really have? Yeah, they have Rare, and that's mostly Banjo-Kazooie and Killer Instinct. and Halo, and they own Halo, which is about it for Xbox, right?
Yeah, but let's take a look at it. Like Halo, you have Destiny that came out for all the systems, and I think Destiny is going to be doing a lot better than Halo, in my opinion.
No, me too. But then you look at PlayStation, and they have a bit more exclusives, right? Because they own Crash Bandicoot now, which they'll reboot him soon, I'm sure. And they also own like God of War and Little Big Planet. So they've got a few really good exclusives. So if Nintendo's next console comes out and is like an octa-core with the GTX 500 in it and like 16 gigs of RAM, it will crush everything.
Yeah.
I think Xbox will leave the console market after the Xbox One, actually, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think the writing's on the wall for Xbox. I think they're gonna start cutting back quite a bit, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, I think if Nintendo was to get on par with the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, yeah. The problem is though, it's really it has to be with timing as well, right? Because if they get this console out, let's say next year, holiday next year, and it is, let's say, a little bit superior than the PS4 graphically. Even though, even if the third parties get with them and whatnot, and Nintendo comes out with these great games, even if that was to happen, I'm not sure though that it will really beat the PS4 on sales because it's already PS4. It's already had 2 years of by that time it will be like 3 years or so of them selling millions and millions of consoles. At that time, I don't know if they will work. I think this would work better if they would have if the console would have come out at in the same time period that the Xbox and the PS4. At this point, though, I'm not sure though that it will work.
So you think their time frame is off? That they should have released it around the time of the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Unless it is much more powerful. If that's the case, then yeah, I can see them, having a glimmer of hope there. But if not, if it's around the same as a PS4, as I said, I don't think it's gonna make much more of a difference.
See, I think that they are gonna actually go with it being more powerful now. Because I think that's what the smart thing. Because then they could have insane exclusives, right? So like you could get Ubisoft on there and release an exclusive, super powerful Assassin's Creed for the Wii or whatever they want to call the next one. It's nicknamed the NX. So.
Yeah, they should be 4K ready. If they're 4K ready for some reason, then I think they will crush the market.
Yeah, because if they come out 4K ready, Xbox and PS4 need to rebuild their consoles to be 4K ready. It's not a firmware update. Yes. So if Nintendo shows up next year or even the year after with the 4K ready console, that'll be a big world of difference too.
Yes, yes. So, and let's say, as I said, if it's 4K ready, and let's say that the third-party developers don't really develop for 4K, that's okay as long as all the games run much better. The third-party games run much better on Nintendo's console, and then you have your Mario, your Zelda on 4K, and that would be the nail in the coffin. But if they don't, if the console comes out with the same power as a PS4 or a little bit more, then I don't think they have a chance.
So it's interesting.
Timing, man.
It is timing, yeah. It's interesting thoughts though. But when we look at going into E3 this summer, who's really done anything big besides exclusive games? Like in the world of gaming, yeah, there's going to be some, but in the terms of hardware, I think Nintendo's going to have a big jump on it if they're part of E3 this year. They took a step back where they don't want to be part of E3, where they just want to do their little Nintendo streams. But it's going to be interesting to see if they do decide to make a step back, to E3 and release something of this system during
that's
E3.
The thing.
Would be
that's
amazing.
The thing. But that's the thing, right? They said that here it is. We're working on the next console. It's the NX thing. More details next year. That's what they said, right? So, if that's to be trusted, then there's not gonna be any news for E3 for them. At least on that console side, right? So if they're not gonna say anything about the new console,
Could be trolling. Maybe they got with the times, right? Maybe they finally got with the times, and they're like, "Hey, have you heard of this thing called trolling? We should so do this."
Yeah, well, I I don't think they're trolling though. I don't think they're gonna have any information until next year. If that's the case, then they should not do. They should do it the same way they did it last year. No, I mean because they're gonna have enough to show. I don't know.
True.
Yeah.
True. No, it's going to be interesting to see. In my opinion, it's going to be interesting to see what does happen with this, if any more details leak or anything of that sort. Any final thoughts on that, Andrew?
You know what? I'm honestly just excited for what Nintendo's going to do next. And the Wii U got a lot of hate, but I love it. I've loved all the Nintendo exclusives that I've played for it. I even liked Zombie U, and I actually bought Resident Evil Revelations on my Wii U because I liked the control setup so much. So if they do come in graphically superior to the PS4 and the Xbox One, I think it has the possibility to do something amazing. Yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Yep, I agree. I mean, 2014. I mean, honestly, the Wii U was the best console for 2014. There was nothing coming even close in gaming related.
Oh no! I mean, look, they released the new 3DS XL, right? It outsells all three of the consoles in its first month.
Yeah, there you go.
Nintendo has enough money in the bank to make a failing console for the next 25 years.
They did. That was called the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, they can make 25 of those for the next 25 years.
They did. It was called the GameCube.
Hey, I like the GameCube. I don't know what anyone else is saying. I like the GameCube. I thought it was a fun machine.
It is a fun machine. The problem is that they didn't sell as well, though.
They didn't. And you know what's the funny thing is, like, you go back and, like, I have a massive PS2 collection and a massive Xbox collection and a massive Cube collection that I picked up all from when GameStop started clearancing out those three things. Now, all of a sudden, I try to sell a PS2, I can make $20 on it, maybe, right? Or I trade it in somewhere.
Yeah.
I try to sell an Xbox, nobody wants an Xbox. One of the old giant Xboxes, nobody wants it. Fine, I'm not really trying to sell them anyway. I offer to trade a GameCube with somebody with Wind Waker, and he's like, "You want my $120 rare fight stick?" Yes. Yes, I will take your Street Fighter fight stick off of your hands, because the GameCube has this weird nostalgic factor to it now, and everybody wants it again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of Nintendo, I don't think any. I mean, even the Virtual Boy, right? Right now, it sells more than it was last being sold in the stores.
Yeah, my buddy got one for $20 on clearance at a store.
There you go.
And I just recently sold one for $110.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I don't know of any Nintendo console that doesn't sell well, that doesn't hold its value at least. Well, not
the original Game Boy.
How much are they going for?
I think they're giving them away.
That's true. I do have like 4 or 5 gray old Game Boys. Well, they turned gray.
I think that would probably be the only system from Nintendo that would be, because there wasn't really anything good on the Game Boy itself, right? There's no.
What are you saying? What?
What? Yeah, there's no gems on the regular Game Boy.
Super Mario Land 1 and 2 is awesome.
You know where Pokemon started?
Yeah, that was original Game Boy.
They've been remade on the new ones, so what do you need to go back to those garbage ones for?
Oh, just because Star Wars got remade doesn't mean you don't like the original ones better?
Yeah.
I love Jar Jar Binks. I wish they put Jar Jar Binks in every other one.
You're 100% lying.
I think they should just digitally redo Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 and put Jar Jar Binks as Darth Vader, hands down, and it would sell millions.
As the main protagonist, yeah.
If you've ever wanted to see Disney Studios be burnt to the ground by angry nerds. That is what would happen.
Or they
Yeah.
digitally take out Chewbacca and Jar Jar Binks is now Han Solo's right-hand man.
Oh my god. Why? Why are you saying these atrocious things?
No, I mean, but honestly, the Game Boy has many gems. I mean, like Link's Awakening. I have a video about that. I that is probably one of
Yeah.
my favorite Zelda games of all time, and it's
That was a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Excellent
Okay,
game.
I'll admit I do like that game, but I'm pretty sure it was remade, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the
it was
color.
for the color. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's where I remember it from.
But to be fair, they do actually count the Game Boy, and the Game Boy Color pretty much is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is. I mean, just one
Yeah,
color and
one
the other one
color.
is not color. Yeah.
That's like saying, an African American guy and a white guy are the same. They're just one's colored.
There you go. But they are, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. They are humans, right? We're all
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah.
Look at that. We just got philosophical, folks.
There you go.
Philosophical.
Ooh, Metroid 2 was on the Game Boy. That's never been ported.
Oh
What's
yeah.
that?
Metroid 2.
And I like that Metroid game. It was a very nice Metroid game.
They added a mini map to it. It was amazing.
And you saw the different Metroids, different evolutions of the Metroid. That was a great game.
Yeah, it was.
I
It was a
never
really
played
excellent
it.
game.
I never played it.
Do you like the Metroid games?
I've never played them.
Oh, they're
Oh.
so fun.
I own the original Metroid, and I have the Super Metroid. I've just never actually played them.
They're worth it.
I
Actually,
gave
that's a lie. I played the Super Metroid when they used to be at Blockbuster. They used to have them set up, and you could play the games, and it was always Super Metroid.
Oh my god.
I gave you an idea here. Now that you're talking about you're not playing any Metroid, we should do a video talking about which games we've never played that everyone else has played.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and we
There
can
you
do
go.
all console and Xplosion feature guys. We could do our part.
I like
Yeah.
it.
That seems like an awesome idea.
Yeah.
So look for that, folks. That's going to be coming out here pretty quick. That should be pretty cool to actually put together. But we got a little off topic, so let's
little
get
bit.
back into some things that were announced. Pretty much, I guess another big one is away from Nintendo news is the yearly installment of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Black Ops 3 has been confirmed.
Are we surprised?
No.
Okay, last Call of Duty game I played was for the PC in, I think, 2003.
And which one was that?
Can't even remember. It was still World War II settings.
Hmm.
And the only reason I played it is because my buddy left his copy over at my house. So I installed it and beat through it in an evening because I had nothing else to do.
I mean, the Call of Duty games are they were really great. The ones you're talking about, the World War II games, are probably one of the best. To me, last great Call of Duty game was the first Modern Warfare, which was Call of Duty 4.
Okay.
That's my favorite, I think. And the last one I played was probably Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 3. That's the last one I did. I never played any of the new ones for like the past 3 years or so. So I really don't know where we are there. They all seem to blend at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you had Black Ops, and then I think it was Modern Warfare 3, and then Black Ops 2, and then Ghost, which is the newest, or the last newest one, and then
Wait.
Advanced Warfare.
At some point, there was one called, like, what, World at War? And that had Nazi zombies in it, right?
Yes.
That might have been the last one I played, because my brother-in-law was like, you should play the Nazi zombie game with me, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was
Yeah.
shooting Nazi zombies, so I was like, I'm actually pretty okay with this right now.
And that was the first one to have zombies. Was that one? So.
Okay, so that was probably the last Call of Duty game I played.
Okay.
So even that was 2007 ish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up. I'm in again.
Yeah. And Antonio just dropped there. We kept going, so technically nobody even knew you left.
Oh.
Antonio got so mad about the Call of Duty talk, he decided to leave.
He just had to throw his headset on the ground and go take a breather, like, damn you.
Yeah,
and then he
fuck
went. And then he went. Had to go hug his M82 demo unit.
There you go. I do.
Pretty much when it comes to the world of Call of Duty, from what I know, is the best Call of Duty has been Modern Warfare 2. Hands down, that's the one that they've petitioned to get remade into high definition for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One is Modern Warfare 2. Black Ops was good because of the stories with the zombies and just the whole versatility with that. So the company that made that, Treyarch, they're actually coming back to do Black Ops 3. So should be good, because one company does a different one, then another, and then Treyarch does one, then another company does one, then Treyarch does one. So it's always been like that.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting to see what happens with Black Ops when it comes to zombies, because the new Modern Warfare didn't have zombies in it. They just got zombies in it in the last update, DLC. But I really haven't heard a lot of good things about it. Not as much as excitement when you get, Nazi zombies or the zombies in the original Black Ops games, for sure. So,
are we not sick of zombies yet, though?
Oh, I love zombies.
It seems. Well, I love them too, but it seems that zombies has been, in everything for the last 8 years or so. I don't know. Why not get noms or something different?
The zombies are super hit and miss for me now at this point, right? So like,
hang on. Did you say nuns?
I think he said gnomes.
Oh, no.
Gnomes, yeah.
I thought he said get nuns. I was like, wait, what?
I probably pronounced it like that. So. just like the main.
I made a mame cabinet. I made a mame cabinet.
Like edamame. Yeah, no, zombies are hit and miss for me. Like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, cool, this zombie movie was awesome. Like, I'll always go back to the Romero movies, the Night, Dawn, and Day. And Land. I like Land of the Dead, too. But, for the most part, like, sometimes in games they do feel a little played out. Like in Operation Raccoon City. I was like, eh.
What else can you do?
I don't know.
It's a Resident Evil game. What else are they going to shoot? They bring everything else in, then people bitch about, oh, they weren't zombies. So they bring the zombies back, and people bitch, oh, they were zombies. And it's like, screw you all.
Well, like
bitch about the zombies. I just wanted puzzles.
Resident Evil 4, for instance, probably it's my favorite. And that's, they are zombies, but they're not zombies. They have the Ouroboros virus, whatever they were called it.
Yeah, the Los Plagas.
They have the things that when you drink Mexican water.
Yeah, it's actually in Spain.
You get the fucking things in your head.
And so, inversely, when you drink Canadian water, do you instantly become a nicer person that likes donuts?
You become a moose.
No. When you do, you end every sentence with an A. Yeah.
And mispronounce the word about.
Yeah, about.
But have I done that in any conversation that we've had?
I don't know.
Yes.
Well, you find it in some podcasts, or you find it, and you let me know. I'm positive I haven't been like, oh, well, there ain't no doubt about it.
About it, eh?
Hey, what you guys talking about there? Or what you guys talking about there? Eh?
Oh my god.
And I mean, I noticed that a lot because again, I have a lot of coworkers from Canada, and they do talk like that a lot. So.
Oh, really? If
Yeah.
they're more French Canadian, I noticed French Canadian or from Newfoundland, then that's a lot of where it comes from. the Canadian stereotype is the French, and Labrador, Newfoundland, and PEI, that whole area. If you go West Coast, it's all like A squared and Andrew there, where they're all hippies.
I am not a hippie.
Or if you go from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, it's all cattle ranchers. So it's like Texas.
The ones I'm talking about, they live like 20 minutes from you, Cass. So.
Hey, I'm from the West Coast. I moved out here involuntarily.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you were on my side of the.
I was on Vancouver Island, where all the hippies and dope smokers are.
Oh, you were seriously on Vancouver Island? That's funny as hell.
Yeah, and then I moved to Calgary, which is where all the ranchers and dope smokers are.
I'm seeing a pattern.
And now I moved to Ottawa, the capital of Canada, to where all the, I guess, politicians and dopes are.
Oh, God.
Which happen to be the politicians as well, so. But no, I'm excited for Black Ops 3. That's just me, because I enjoyed the first two.
Yeah.
I never really
played.
Yeah.
So the other thing, or the other game that was talked about or have some inkling was... Antonio, if you want to take this one, since it was your story.
Yeah, The Last Guardian. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, so it seems that over at NeoGAF, they've discovered that Sony has renewed the trademark for The Last Guardian. So, do we have our hopes up that we're going to get The Last Guardian hopefully here in the near future? I mean, I've not played. I did not play nor Ico nor Shadow of the Colossus. So I've seen it. I don't know what to expect though for The Last Guardian. I just heard so much talk about it that I'm interested to know what would it be, right? I don't know if you guys have played or are interesting.
So I really liked Ico, but I didn't like Shadow of the Colossus.
Get off the call. Get out of here. Nobody wants to listen to your garbage. You mean nothing. You're not a gamer. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer.
How dare you talk ill of Shadow of the Colossus?
I think my mass amount of video games that are around me would beg to differ.
Those mean nothing. You're not a gamer in the heart. When you have an awesome game like Shadows, and you just like, oh, it's not that good of a game.
Shadows of the Damned is a great game, and I love that game.
Shadows of the Damned, you like that game over Shadows of the Colossus?
Studio 51? How do you not like Studio 51?
Oh.
Everything that man touches is pop culture weirdness.
But
as someone that has not played the games, I would like to hear Andrew's take on it to try to understand, and then your take, Cass, as a counterpart to see, what is it that you don't like about the game, Andrew?
So Ico, I really enjoyed Ico. It was a puzzle-based action adventure game where you're taking a princess around this castle or tower trying to escape it. Really pretty game, very good story, very good music and sound effects, and it looks great. So when Shadow of the Colossus came out, I was really excited for it. I was like, same team, same developers, this is going to be great. And then when I got it, and I started to play it, and I realized that it was a ripoff of Link's Awakening, but with no puzzles, that's when I had a problem with the game.
Oh. Why do you say it's a ripoff of Link's Awakening?
Oh, it pretty much has the same opening opening screen, right? Princess Zelda's asleep. She's put to sleep by an evil wizard. Then you go on a quest, riding your horse, finding bad guys and killing them.
So any game where it has a princess sleeping and you riding a horse is a copy?
Okay. That is like frame for frame the exact same thing.
I'm pretty sure I could look up right now a bunch of games that have you riding a horse and a sleeping princess.
Yeah, but then here's the problem, is when you go fight these 13 Colossi, there's no puzzle to it. You don't have to figure out how to beat them. You just have to run up them and kill them and run up them and kill them and run up them and kill them. That's not very interesting to me. I just find that really boring. I don't feel like it's very challenging. I didn't feel like it was... I just felt like it was kind of half-assed, honestly.
So mechanics-wise, Andrew, do you think you have a problem with any mechanics of the game?
Mechanics-wise, no, it controlled pretty well, but it did glitch out on me a few times, which I heard they fixed in the HD remakes that are on the PS3. Twice when I was riding my horse, I fell completely through the world and kept riding my horse, which was funny. And in the game, you have to utilize your sword, and then it shines and it points light in the direction where the Colossus is. I couldn't get this one Colossus to spawn. It was the flying Colossus, the one that looks like a giant snake thing. And I couldn't get him to spawn until I actually took the disc to my friend's house, and we beat through up until that part again, and then I finally got him to spawn.
Mm.
But,
so,
no, mechanically,
you said...
it handled, but I just thought it was immensely boring.
Okay, so that's what it is. You found it to be not interesting story-wise, and a little bit boring gameplay-wise. Not really that the mechanics were broken. I mean, the glitchiness is something.
No, that's something way different. They fixed that.
Okay, so you, Cass. So what would you say that say this is a great game for you?
It pretty much comes down to, Ico was a good game. Shadow Colossi, being a sequel to that. They're in the same story frame. So you kind of have to think of it that way. Was also a good thing. Just the artwork, the dynamics of the game at the time of when that game came out. Excuse me. At the time when that game came out, there was nothing else like it when it came to looks, sound, the beauty of the overall package of the game. So a lot of that came to just the timing for me. I thought the controls were good. I had no issues with it. I mean, it's a PlayStation 2 game. It happens. You have those issues with every with every game.
Oh yeah,
I played Doom 3 and got through the whole first level. For the first 2 levels, up to the first time you're supposed to fight a boss, and didn't fight one bad guy because the game glitched. So, it happens, right? And that was on the Xbox. So it happens, it is what it is, but I'm not going to fault the game on it. Unlike some people. So
I did not. I prefaced that by saying I didn't fault the game on its glitches. I fault the game on its no puzzles.
And there was boring. Puzzles. You had to figure out how to defeat each Colossi. It wasn't just given to you. You were given the spots to hit them, but you had to figure out how to climb up them. You had to figure out how to get them to attack you. It wasn't just cut and dry like, oh, let's just stand here like the Friday the 13th game from the Nintendo where he'll come at you at some point and hit him.
Actually, you can't let the kids die.
You can, but you lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Cass, do you think that time has been kind with Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah. Even when you put it in today, it's like, the PlayStation 2 version, it's a PS2 game, but it's still at the time of the PS2 where it was looking good. The HD remix, amazing. You have an HD TV, you want to see the best HD remake game, hands down, it's one of the best. Way better than Silent Hill.
It transferred over beautifully. It really did. That game, like I said, it is a gorgeous game. I will never deny that. That game's absolutely stunning. Same with Ico.
Mm-hmm. And they're both good games.
Said,
they're different. They're a different genre of their own game, but just because they're different doesn't mean they're bad. And to me, they're just a fun playthrough.
So that said, though, are you, Andrew, looking forward at all to The Last Guardian, or
I am,
based on your? Okay.
I liked Ico enough to the point where I don't really care that I dislike Shadow of the Colossus, and the screenshots of The Last Guardian look gorgeous. Again, it's that same style of art, and Kaz is right that nobody really does that kind of art style. It's like I don't know, like a water painting. It's a trip. But the only thing is I'm afraid that The Last Guardian is going to be the next Duke Nukem Forever.
And I have to agree with that. I think, and especially since the creator of the project isn't even with it anymore.
Mm-mm.
Right? So, to me, you're gonna have a lot lost with that. That's like Capcom saying, "Hey, we're gonna make another Mega Man game," without the creators, right?
Yeah.
To me, it wouldn't work. So I'm really on the fence about this one. I think it's going to be one where I'm going to see it come out, and I'm going to wait because I'm not totally sold on it because, the person that made the first two that I love so much isn't even with the project anymore.
Yeah, that was the... Sony seems to kind of have an issue with that, right? Because I had that same issue with God of War. God of War 1 and 2 was David Scott Jaffe. And then 3 was kind of him, but another team. And then the last one, Ascension, which I despise, wasn't him at all. So I hope...
Sorry, wasn't Ascension the PSP ones?
No, Ascension was the one for the PS3. The PSP ones were Ghost of Sparta and...
Origins.
Yes.
And those were...
same team. Again, same God of War team.
Was it the same team? I thought it was a different team.
It was overlooked by the same team.
Oh, okay.
So they were heavily involved.
So what is Ascensions then?
Ascension... So what they did with the... Okay, so when God of War Ascension's a prequel to God of War 1, but a sequel to Origins, kind of. But what they did was they took the combat system that flowed really well with the slow, heavy hits and the grapples, because you can combo those very, very well, and turned it into a single button masher. So all you did was press square.
Oh no!
And it became more about clearing the room of enemies, and less of a mixture of the leveling system that made you strong enough to beat the next level of enemies, and then solving the puzzle to move on to the next area and stuff like that. Because what they did was they wanted to make a multiplayer God of War, and they knew they couldn't just release a multiplayer game, online multiplayer. So they shoehorned this one in, and it got not so favorable reviews from fans and stuff like that, and including myself. I really was not a fan of it. And God of War 1 and 2 are two of my favorite games ever, and I even like 3.
Can I say, though, that the PSP ones for me are the best?
Oh, those are excellent games.
Yeah.
Have you played
Yep.
The HD ones on the PS3?
No, I played them originally on the PSP. I've not played them on the HD remix.
Oh, it's worth it. That whole HD remix, it's 2 discs. It's so worth picking up. I bought it, and God of War transferred really well into HD, and the PSP ones look amazing.
So
it's
they should
worth
be on the
picking
ship
up
right now.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
$20 now, I think.
Yeah, they're $19.99 for both. Actually, they're both red box deals now. So
yeah, that's
not
worth it.
bad.
Yeah, so that's good news for The Last of the Guardians. So, we'll see how that goes when it comes. Yeah, let's move along here. Our new show, exclusively to the Console Explosion YouTube on consoleexplosion.com, is The Point. And the first episode was put up on Tuesday, the 17th. So if you haven't seen excuse me, jeez. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. The link is there in the description. But yeah, one thing that they brought up was the Ghostbusters remakes. The one with the cast of women and the one with the cast of guys. Really, which one's going to do better, or is this just a slap in the face to fans or a money grab overall?
So we all grew up with Ghostbusters, right?
I did.
I know I have it for my NES.
Yeah.
And I have the Master System version.
The best one?
Yes, it is. I love when it screams at me on the NES version, though, like, Ghostbusters! And it's really loud and annoying, but I love it.
The Master System or the Genesis one?
I have the Master System one, dude.
Is that the one where they have the big heads, or is it
No.
just the rehash of the Nintendo and Atari?
Yeah, just with better graphics, and you can actually beat the running up the stairs part.
Oh, okay. See, I have the Genesis one where they have the big heads and they jump around and stuff.
That one's great, too. I don't own
That
that one
was
yet.
awesome.
That one is really, really great. And then there's the other one that never made it to America. It was a European release, I think, only, and Famicom. The real Ghostbusters?
The PAL version, yeah.
Yeah. And
Where
that
you
one's
could play
great.
as Lewis.
Yes, I played that on an emulator, and it was so much fun. I need to get a repro card of it. But okay. So I'm a big movie nerd too, just all around big nerd. I am excited for the all-female version of Ghostbusters, and I could take or leave the all-male version of Ghostbusters.
Really? Even with Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum?
Okay, Chris Pratt, yes. Channing Tatum. I'm not a Channing Tatum fan.
My name is
really-
Jeff.
Yeah.
Have you seen 22 Jump Street?
Yes, and he's got a good sense of humor about himself, but like, I saw Jupiter Ascending and wanted to cry.
No, yeah.
That was terrible. And
Awful
then
movie.
I can't really name a lot of good Channing Tatum movies, right? I mean, I've seen Magic Mike. Yeah, I'll admit it, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Kaz, I am married, and so are you two. Come on, you're telling me you guys haven't seen Magic Mike because your wives wanted to?
Oh, my wife's seen it. She goes with her girlfriends to go watch it. I ain't going to it.
Dude, Kevin
no.
Nash is in the movie.
I'm not going to go watch a 7-foot guy's wanker on the screen. But hey, you know what? If that's what you want to do, if you want to stare at men's body parts, hey, all the power to you. But one Channing Tatum thing that's good is This Is the End, when he played the Gimp.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the Channing Tatum cameo was great, but like I can't really think of a lot of things that he's starred in that has been great. 21 and 22 Jump Street I thought were really funny.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Wait, seriously? Are you guys kidding? Or are you being serious right now? Okay.
G.I. Joe was awesome.
I didn't like G.I. Joe.
And
I didn't like
the sequel of G.I. Joe was even better because he died in the beginning. Oh,
G.I.
wait,
Joe
spoiler.
Retaliation.
Spoiler.
The sequel's better because it's got The Rock and Bruce Willis in it.
Yes.
But I think the all-male cast is just going to be for a cash grab. I think they're just saying that to kind of appease Ghostbusters fans that are super pissed because there's going to be an all-female one. Whereas I think the all-female one seems brilliant. Because the rumor I heard was that it was going to be like Sigourney Weaver kind of teaching them how to bust ghosts. And you have like Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig. I think at some point Amy Poehler might have been attached. All brilliant, funny women fighting ghosts together. Yeah, I would be super into that.
Honestly, if the story is cool, the premise is cool, and the way it's gonna flow is the screenplay is very good. Does it really matter if it's an all-male or an all-female cast? Does it really matter?
No, it doesn't.
At the end of the day, it's just the same. We just want to see this Ghostbusters things come back and in a cool way, right? So
yeah.
I don't care if it's an all-male or all-female. The better one, it's the one I'm gonna like the most, right? Not having anything to do with the gender of the cast.
No, and but I really think that they said they wanted to do the all-male one on the behest of upset male fans, because it seemed kind of hastily after they officially announced the all-female cast one that they were going to do an all-male one.
Yeah. If they could have them both in the same movie, though, that could be cool. If they said, hey, we have these two different teams of Ghostbusters that are competing themselves, and at the end they have to work together to get this bigger threat. I mean, that could be a good setup.
Yeah, I could see that. Like I said, one of the rumors I read was that Sigourney Weaver was going to teach the female Ghostbusters. Just have it be like Bill Murray teaches the male Ghostbusters, because they're divorced and mad at each other now for whatever reason. I'd watch that, but I wouldn't want Channing Tatum in it.
I don't care about it. I mean, if he can be funny and self-aware as in the 22 Jump Street, 23 Jump Street movies, I think it could be good. I don't have anything against him.
Yeah. What about you, Kaz? What do you think about this?
I like the female cast, and I like the guy cast. I think both of them coming out, being their own separate thing, would be fine. But we have to remember, the female cast is a reboot. So it is a totally reimagining of the Ghostbusters. The all-male cast is a sequel. So will be Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of weird.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's where it's not a rehash. It's not another reboot. This is a continuation. Now, unknowing if it's going to be a continuation or a sequel as in Ghostbusters 3 or Ghostbusters 2, the female one. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to tell where this timeline's going to go. So, because the female one is a reboot. So it's a reimagining. There's no original characters. This is what it is. Or I might have it wrong, or it might be the other way around, where the guys one is a reboot, and the girls one is, like you said, having old characters in it, as being Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah, last I heard it was like that. They weren't going to call it Ghostbusters 3, but I mean, it was going to be. I guess they wanted to bring Sigourney Weaver back into it.
Yeah, because for me, the real Ghostbusters 3 was the video game.
Yeah, that was actually
great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really well.
You know
written.
what?
Fun game.
Yeah. You know what? As long as we have an NES advantage moving the another statue, I'm okay with it then.
Yeah, I'm into that. I mean, shit. I just probably watched Ghostbusters 2 too young to have the hatred a lot of people have for it for some reason. But man, when they busted out that NES advantage on the Statue of Liberty, I was like, this is the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, no, I liked Ghostbusters 2. I don't understand what any of the critics have against it. I thought it was good as a continuation to the story, and the fact it was written well, and the comedy floats like very good between every person, and Stan Winston got more, or Stan's character,
yes,
Winston's character got more lines in this one.
Yeah, no,
and the NES Advantage. There you go.
And the NES
Complete
Advantage.
package.
That
Complete
movie actually,
package.
it holds up pretty well. I just recently rewatched it on Blu-ray, which, by the way, the Blu-ray transfer of Ghostbusters 1 and 2 is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I just recently rewatched them, and they were awesome.
So there it is. Buy the Blu-rays. If you don't, you're old.
You're old.
Speaking of old.
What?
Speaking of old.
Or get the laser discs. I have
Get
them
the
on
laser
Laserdisc,
disc. There you go. There you go. It is Chrono Trigger's 20th. They just celebrated their 20th anniversary. And Rare has celebrated their 30th anniversary. So, speaking of Chrono Trigger, have you guys played Chrono Trigger?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Has Lapis destroyed the world already?
I don't know.
It's 1999.
It should have. But if nobody's played it or you don't know anything of it, you can check out on SoundCloud the Console Xplosion's Half an Hour of Power, and you can listen to all the awesome music from that game from the consoleexplosion.com. But you can listen to the music. I thought the music of the game was what sold me on the whole story. You know, the music was the most fantastic part of Chrono Trigger, in my opinion.
I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z nerd. So the art was so beautiful as well. You know, that Akira Toriyama art style. That's also in the Dragon Warrior games, Dragon Quest games. I still refer to them as Dragon Warrior. And the music, and don't get me wrong, the music's awesome, but it was like a perfect storm of JRPG, right? Great music, good art, good gameplay, good story.
Yes. I mean, as you know, as Andrew said, I think, and you know, I do believe, yeah, the music it's outstanding. But I gotta say, for me, I think that the gameplay was sold at the best. It's just turn-based combat RPG refined to near perfection. I think it's probably one of for a turn-based RPG. Gameplay-wise, I'm not sure there's anything really better than that. I mean, just you being able to combine attacks between the different characters, something that was never done before. You know, the way the gameplay flows in that game, I think it's really well done. I mean, the story, it's a very very nice story, but as every story having time travel, you're gonna be raising your eyebrow a lot. You know, there's gonna be a lot of plot holes everywhere. But if you can live past that, it's a very fun story with very touching moments, with moments where stuff that you've done in the game that if you've never played it before, you're gonna be surprised of how many ramifications will have. A small thing that you did at the beginning or at the middle, whatnot, it will have ramifications later on. And I think stuff like that, it was revolutionized by that game. I don't think many of those things were done before. Many of them were firsts. And I think that's why a lot of people gravitate to that game a lot and remember that game so fondly. I'm not sure it's the best Super Nintendo RPG ever, but it's up there for sure.
Yeah, there's lots to choose from that you can actually see on Antonio's channel. If you want to plug it right now.
Oh yeah, you can check in YouTube, Cocado Retro Reviews. I have several RPGs. Were actually my first videos, and I also talk a lot about music there in the last video I did, where I think that the sound was one of the parts that saved the console market, the U.S. console market, from the crash of 1983. So, yeah, I did a lot of research for that freaking video, man.
Yeah, so it
A
turned out
lot of
really good.
research.
But yeah, if you want to take a look at any of the, JRPGs or any RPGs for the Super Nintendo, check out Antonio's channel for sure. Great, great, great stuff. But no, I think Chrono Trigger is awesome. Chrono Cross, on the other hand, I couldn't get into it when I first played it. Just could not get into it. Andrew, have you played it?
Yeah. Okay. So this story actually, it was one of those situations that sucked for me, right? Chrono Cross was 2 discs, right?
Oh no. I can already know what you're gonna say.
I bought it brand new. Get it home, play the first disc for about a week. Pop in disc 2, doesn't work.
Oh.
Clean it, take it to a place to get it buffered, doesn't work. I called Square Enix's help hotline. They tell me to return the disc, proof of purchase, all that fun stuff. I do. I wait 6 weeks, still hasn't shown up. Another 6 weeks go by. This is 3 months now. I call them. They have no ticket for the call that I made. And they have not received the disc from me.
Oh.
And I was just like, I don't even know what to do here. So to say Chrono Cross has left a sour taste in my mouth. And again, it's not the game's fault. But yeah, I played it.
Yeah, it's a great game. It is tough to get into. I do agree on that. But I gotta say that a lot of RPGs, to me, they need time for them to really grab you. I think I don't know of many RPGs that grab you from the beginning and they don't let you go. Especially JRPGs, right? Japanese RPGs, they tend to be, they tend to ramp up. They tend to start really slow, and then you start to get into it after several hours of playing the game. I think Chrono Cross is one of those. It has an interesting system, I guess, color system, where depending on the color, the type of damage you do and whatnot, but the gameplay I didn't like it that much, but the story I liked it a little bit more than Chrono Trigger. Though the game itself, I would say that Chrono Trigger is a little bit better than Chrono Cross.
For me, there's only one RPG that pretty much throws you right into it, to the action, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, it loads you from when you go running in.
Oh, and it sounds like we have some problems there with Andrew's mic.
How about now?
There you go.
Better.
Okay. Yeah, 7, when it throws you right into the generator and you just are pretty much like, here you go! That is actually it was a fun start. But I mean, really, the ones that throw you right into the game are like 8-bit RPGs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are very few of the games. Probably the one I did, my first review actually was for Tales of Fantasia, and that game throws you really fast into it. Really fast. You have tragedies. Is that how it's pronounced? Really fast in the game where everyone dies and you need to save everyone. Really fast in the game, and I think that's good. But again, most of JRPGs, they don't do that. They start very slow, and the plot thickens until probably half of the game. That's when it really starts to get interesting. So that's the problem. I think that's the problem with a lot of people that don't play RPGs. They don't tend to grab you as fast as other games, right? That
Hmm.
action games, platform games. You're playing off the back with you know off the back if you're gonna like it or not. RPGs, they need to you need to give them time, and
Yes.
then you'll see if you like them or not.
Oh yeah, totally agree with that.
Yeah, and I think and that's sad because I think that's the problem with a lot of people that say that they don't like them, is because they just haven't given them the actual chance to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like, COD where you just, here's a gun, shoot it, right? It's,
Yeah.
here's the story, here's the development of this character. It's like a good movie, right?
Hmm. Well, like a good series, I guess, because they tend to be long. So
Yeah.
I think it's more like a series than an actual movie.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I guess you can see it. I guess you can say it like that. So, sorry, with that, Rare 30th anniversary. There's more games there. What's your favorite Rare title? For me, GoldenEye 64. Played that game for hours. Played it with friends. That's my favorite, hands down. Antonio, what's yours?
Great. I want to be last because I think my option, my pick is not gonna be the favorite of anyone's.
Is
So
it
let's
Perfect
hear
Dark?
Andrews
Is it
first.
Perfect Dark for the Xbox 360?
No.
Is it a Nightmare on Elm Street for the NES?
That's the one. No, that's not the one.
Okay, so Andrew, what's yours?
It would probably have to be Banjo-Tooie. I love Donkey Kong and I love Banjo-Kazooie, and I do actually like Nightmare on Elm Street for the NES and stuff like that. But just something about Banjo-Tooie, the humor, the graphics, they actually still hold up really well. The controls were nice, and I really enjoyed that game. It was a fun 3D platformer.
Yeah.
I've never actually played it, so
Oh, it's worth it. Both the Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie are worth checking out.
maybe I
I
should.
agree. Yep. So mine, it's probably more nostalgia than anything, but when I think of Rare, I think more of their games. The one that pops up really fast in my mind is Diddy Kong's Racing. I think
Okay.
when it came out, we had Mario 64. I think Diddy Kong Racing is a much better game than that. The ability to have three different, you have your cart, you have your airplane, and you have like this hovercraft to go into the waves. And I don't know, it's something about the game, the way it is strategic on you. If you get three of the same color balloon, it will be different weapons on the game. So you can strategize that. Either you use as you got it, do you use it, or you wait to get the third iteration of that to have the more powerful weapon. You use it. I don't know. There's something about that game that gravitates a lot to me. It's my favorite Rare game.
It's a good game. You're right. It got overshadowed quite a bit by Mario 64, Mario Kart 64. But no, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely harder than Mario Kart 64.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had boss fights actually on the game as well. Something that for a racing game was new as well. You didn't see that before.
No, yeah, that was new. That was new to the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's our thoughts. So, you know what? We tip our hat. We blow out the candles. We hope Rare sticks around. Doesn't disappear like Maxis just disappeared from EA. That was a shock.
Yeah.
We'll go into more detail about that next week because I think we're having the historic nerd I believe he might be joining us next week. So he did a whole thing on EA, and he talked about Maxis in that. So it would be good to hear his thoughts on this whole closure of that studio.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'll
be interesting.
Yeah. So again, I think we're about to wrap it up here, boys. We've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah, I think we got some good conversation in, though.
Yeah, and I hope everyone's enjoying listening to us. If you do enjoy listening to us, make sure you hit a like, make sure you share it with your friends, comment if you have any questions or anything you want to do. We all look at that. We also have a new forums, so you can check us out at www.theconsolexplosion.com and check out the TCX forums, where you can talk to all the creators of all of the Console Explosion shows, from everyone on the podcast to everyone on all the other channels. So, check this out. Check out our website for sure. And yeah, like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. But again, my name is Kaztech, saying goodbye from Ottawa, Ontario, hoping the snow will go with my goodbye because I'm tired of it.
Is that white stuff that falls from the sky? Because I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you know what? Quiet, both of you. It's snow and it's cold, so both of you can suck it, okay?
Yeah. I don't know what that is either. And this is Antonio from Guadalajara, Mexico, saying goodbye as well.
This is Andrew from sunny San Diego.
Yeah, and make sure you follow me on Console Explosion, or at Console Explosion. Do you guys want to plug your stuff? Plug your shows?
Go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you can find me in the YouTube space as Gokado Retro Reviews. On Twitter as well as at Gokadito. Hopefully there are going to be links below so that we can check them out there as well. And, I do retro reviews if you want to see them.
With the other Andrew.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, you can find me on YouTube with the other Andrew at A Squared Game Reviews. You can follow me on Twitter at AndrewParada1, where I mostly complain about things that happen commonly in wrestling. And, I don't know, try and be a smartass.
Oh, yeah. So join us, I think, next week. We will be back with another podcast, as well as our wrestling podcast will be up next week as well. So that will be our predictions with Andrew and myself. And I think we might be having another person join us, not 100% sure. But nonetheless, look forward to seeing you guys all on our next podcast. Till next time, this is the Console Explosion signing out and saying, turn off the damn TV.
What?